everybody, Simon Madden here for Simon Madden Consulting, of course, and Talking Talent, and we want to talk to some talent over the next X amount of weeks. It's a strange world. I know. Hang on,
I'm looking for the talent.
Mate, don't undersell yourself. Now, I'd like to say, if you have a look at the background, it's got the logo, so we get some advertising in. But I'd love to say I'm in my mountain hideaway, right up in the beautiful Kosciuszko Mountains. But in actual fact, I've got to go and just show you that's. I'm just in my office like everybody else. Sorry, fellas. I just thought I'd just try and put that in. But look, I'd like to welcome our guests. We've got the great man. Well, I say the voice of Channel 7, or maybe the man. The song, the voice was named after. Maybe Jim Farnham used this man as inspiration for the voice. A bloke, if you don't know his face, you'll definitely know his voice. He's been around in TV for years. He's been behind the great shows of The Price is Right. He's the first person to say, "Come on down" properly. Nobody else. It wasn't Turpie. Wasn't Ian Turpie. It was you. His foot was the man who said, "Come on down." Been on Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud. He might even have a small allegiance to the Collingwood Football Club. Would you?
Correct.
I knew there was something wrong about him. I knew there was.
Hang on, what's your time?
There was something.
Welcome, John Deeks. How are you, John? Welcome.
Hey, so how you going, fella?
I'm very good, mate. All the better.
Go back to that other mountain background. I think it looked much more appealing.
I'm ugly enough that and my head sort of wobbles.
You're right there.
Now, before he starts talking, the other bloke I'd like to welcome, of course, is if you're a Richmond person, he needs no introduction. And I don't want to give you one, but I have to. He's a cheeky little rover, but he's been around football forever. He's a Premiership player. He's a Richmond great. I could go through 274 games. He's AFL Team of the Century, All Australian, I should say, Richmond Team of the Century, Premiership.
Yeah, but what's he done lately?
Richmond Hall of Fame. And
I've been actually working, John.
And he's actually working for the Richmond Football. Would you welcome Dale Weightman? Welcome.
Woo-hoo! Thank you very much. Thanks for the intro,
Come on,
Simon.
Let's hear it. Come on, audience.
You can keep talking, Simon. It's quite all right.
No, welcome to both of you. Look, really appreciate your time, fellas. It is a strange time, and I want to ask you. I want to go back. We'll have a bit of fun, of course, but I want some serious questions from you two guys, because you've been on this planet not a long time to make you old, but you're experienced more than some of the other people out there. You've been through some really interesting times. How are you coping with this? Because we are Melbourne-based people. How are you coping, John? How are you coping with the COVID situation now?
Oh, look, Simon, I'm very lucky in as much as I do most of my work from home anyway, a bit like yourself, and we can work online. And we've sort of been building up to working more and more away from the office environment. Of course, not being able to interact with people, not being able to go to the pub, not being able to go to the footy is difficult. But I am much luckier than others. I'm still employed. I have someone beautiful to cuddle into every night. And I have a wonderful place to live, and I've got a boat in Sandringham. So, mate, let me tell you, if I've got anything to complain about, I have got nothing.
No, that's great, mate. Really good. So I love your positive attitude, because a lot of people out there need to hear about how, because remember, it's not what happens to you, it's how you handle it. So that's fantastic, mate. Now, you cheeky little rover.
Who told you that?
Huh?
Which coach taught you that one?
No, that's one of my own lines. You like that?
Really? Hang on, let me just write that down. Okay, thank you. Simon Madden original. Wow.
You only had one coach, Kevin Sheedy.
You got a few of them now, Dale. How are you handling it?
Oh, look, Simon, it's been, well, I was stood down I've been stood down for about 3 or 4 months. So, and I was at home and I had to get out. And lucky enough, I knew someone that was doing a bit of work around his house. His house is three very big houses in East Melbourne. So I've been labouring for him.
Good on you.
Yeah,
and a few of the boys have been doing that too, haven't they? Just to keep the physical strength up.
Yeah, look, but you're meeting people. You're meeting guys that are chippies, plumbers and all that. And I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, Fleet, with all your football, I mean, 274 games, your body's still okay to be labouring.
No, it's not. I've been to the physio a couple of times, the chiropractor around the corner. I'm struggling. I get up.
What's their advice been?
What are you doing? What are you doing? It's keeping me moving. But, I think it's more about just getting out there and talking to people, and just enjoying the day, getting up at 5, finish at 3. So I'm happy.
Interaction, it's so important, isn't it?
I
It
think
is.
it's a really good point. That's why we started this. And I like, of course, I want to talk to football people. As I said, John, I want to talk to people like you, because you've been in your industry. Well, you're just part of the industry. I want to ask both, how did it start for you, John? How did it start for you to getting into the TV industry?
Me? It started with a hole in Mum's kitchen table back in when I was about
Say that again.
14.
A hole in Mum's kitchen table.
Yeah, well, I'd been to the Royal Melbourne show and I'd seen the ABC caravan, and there was a hole through the middle of the table with a microphone stand, and then out of it were 2 microphones hanging off it. And I thought, that looks like a fantastic idea. So I came home and got a chisel and bashed out the middle of Mum's kitchen table, put a broomstick down the middle of it, and put a bar across the 2 and 2 toilet roll holders, and I had myself a studio. Now, you reckon that Mum would have gone berserk, right? She said, well, dear, obviously you have a bent, you want to do something like this, that's fair enough. So she got a doily, put it over the top, little pop plant, Bob's your auntie. So that was the beginning, and then on to 3AW radio school. Eventually got kicked out of there because I'm in fact dyslexic, believe it or not, and couldn't read the copy. The pipes were good, but I couldn't read the copy properly because of dyslexia. Wow. And back in the 1800s, people thought it was just Johnny was slow. Dyslexia wasn't really a recognised condition.
Johnny gets that all the time for being over 6 foot. No, he does. He gets it all the time.
He doesn't like anybody over 6 foot tall.
He's dumb as you know what.
How did you find out? When did you find out about that? Because that.
Well, the dyslexia.
Yeah.
Dyslexia. Well, it wasn't diagnosed. It was just like, when I was at Ripponlea State School, everyone thought, little Johnny's just slow. So I went then to Caulfield Tech and was kicked out a year 3. I got my sub-inter, if anybody remembers that. And the headmaster said, listen, you probably have to repeat year 3 or I'll give you your sub-inter now and you can go away. And so I took the sub-inter and went, and Mum, God bless her, she could not have afforded it, put me through Taylor's Business College, if you remember Taylor's back in the day. And I have the distinction of being the only person to fail Taylor's twice. And it was then Mum got the age out and said, right, we're going to get you a job. Now let's see. So I started my working life at 15 years of age.
And where was that? Was that in?
That was in Richmond at a engineering company as an office boy. I eventually then went to become selling toilets at Roger Suller and My Hill, a very upmarket hardware store. Then got into radio through the 3AW radio school, but got kicked out of that because I couldn't read. The dyslexia was then acknowledged as such, and went to Clark Sinclair, who was a radio school as well. That was in about 1967. Then I got my first job at 2RG Griffith, MTN Channel 9 in New South Wales, and it went on from there.
Fantastic, mate. Now, have you always had that voice, or did you have to train that voice? Because it is one.
I know what you mean, but look, it's like if you guys, went out and kicked a footy now, you'd kick it as you would have. It might be a bit stiffer or whatever, but it's something that instinctively. So, I mean, I use my pipes every day doing JB, you've done it again, or whatever, or the following program is what. So it's something that is instinctive and is glued in there, thank goodness. So, yeah.
Well, that's a great story, considering, because a lot of people that would just stop them, actually having dyslexia, and that said, I can't do it.
Well, I was also lucky, JB, because Simon, I was able to read a lot of copy. Back in the day, you were given like a stack of copy to read live. So today, there's not that opportunity. It's all pre-recorded. So really, I was very lucky back then, so I'd be able to read all that copy and kind of work it out. And it was as if you had a bit of a gammy leg or some sort of problem, and if you worked on it every single day, you'll hopefully get better.
Well, that's fantastic. That's great. We're now talking about from where you come from. Now, Flea or Dale, I should call you Dale.
No, call me Flea. I don't know who Dale is.
So I don't think you've ever called you Dale. Now, you were a Mildura boy, is that correct?
Oh, right up the bush. Beautiful spots in Asia.
And so what age did you start playing football?
Oh, geez, I would have been started when I was 7 or 8, like you used to do. I've had one of the things I was lucky enough in my life. I had a father, and I've got 3 other brothers and 2 sisters. But my father was a very good junior coach, and he coached me all through. A good senior coach, and he was a good player. He played over. I think he ended up playing in the minor league after that. After he played in the He played 3 other games there, then played till he was 46. And he only just passed away 3 months ago.
Oh,
Yeah, he got cook cancer and everything, but he was the one that really helped me and so forth, and the support you got from mum and dad. Mum was a really good netballer and sports person, so we were brought up in that. And the thing was, where we lived in Mildura, number one oval where all the footy and cricket was played was opposite. I walked out the front gate straight into the front gate of the oval, and I was there. So I played cricket and footy there and everything. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, I didn't plan this, but funnily enough, John's talked about having dyslexia to start with. Now, you had to actually overcome diabetes and play league football.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get diabetes till I was 23. So I played 6 years of league footy for the Tigers, and I was feeling a bit ordinary. And I'm thinking, and I used to play at a whopping 69 kilograms. A massive man I was.
You weren't the heaviest.
69 kilograms I played at, and I just pre-season training. You're running around. I'm getting thirsty, and I'm thinking, I'm just thirsty because it's hot. It was. But I lost. I was down to 60 kilos in about 3 months. I said, there's something wrong here. So I went and saw the club doctor. And I said, there's something wrong here. I'm going to the toilet and all that. All the symptoms what diabetes have. And he said, is anyone else in the family diabetic? I said, yeah, my older brother is. He was 5 years old, and I knew he got about the same age as he was, about 23 when he got it. And I said, yeah. And I didn't know much about it because we were living away. I said, yeah. He said, well, go and have a test. And so I did. And your blood sugar levels should be between 4 and 7. That's a normal person. Mine was 34. So I was going to be in put me in the hospital for 2 weeks to get everything sorted and everything, and I had to learn all about it and so forth. I suppose the big thing was giving yourself an injection.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing. And in those days, there was these whopping big needles that you had to. So I've had 4 a day for 37 years. 4 injections a day for 37 years.
I'll take dyslexia anytime.
I know, but I can handle it. Look, if you can handle it, you can do everything. And I did. I played 10 years of league footy with type 1 diabetes, and I'm 60 now. So
how did you get it? I mean, do you get it?
Well, who knows? I've got one of my other brothers got it when he was in his 40s, and one brother, Evil, actually named Kent Evil, should have got it because he just eats and drinks and does whatever he likes. Doesn't look like getting it, and we're all fit because I was playing league footy and I was, the pancreas just stopped working, and it happens in people. It's it's hereditary and something. It must have been back in the old days. So I've got 3 sons and they may get it, but they've been tested and they haven't as yet. So.
But also, I remember one time, mate, you've got to take your needles, because one time you didn't take your needles, didn't you? And you had a little bit of a blackhead in the car and actually slammed the car, and luckily not too far, and slammed into a couple of cars. If I remember.
Yeah, well, that happens. I don't know if that was the insulin or it might have been something else that was going on.
It was the insulin.
Best driver. John, I wasn't the best driver. The thing wouldn't stay on the road sometimes. It wasn't. I don't think it was my fault. Just but that happens.
Tree jumped out at you.
Oh, yeah, a couple did. I rolled a couple.
Now, it's really interesting. That's an interesting theme we've got there, that, you're overcoming adversity, because I think it's a really interesting thing for people to know about at the present time. I want to talk for both of you. John, first, what's the greatest thing or the greatest thing you got, or the best moment? What's the great thing out of your career that you remember and say, gee, I love being part of that?
Oh, absolutely. Working with terrific talent. I've never really had a desire to be the host. I've always loved being the helper, the number 2. Pete Smith always said, mate, be B or C, because you always work. When you're A, you've got 13 weeks guaranteed, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So, and also my ego was totally satisfied with supporting Ian Turpie, supporting John Burgess, supporting Andrew O'Keefe, being part of that collective and making it great for them. And I was lucky because I liked and loved all those people so much. If I didn't care for them, if I thought, I really don't like this person, and there was probably only one who was that way, and it was only a very, very short time, who I didn't get on with. But the rest of them, for 33 years, working with those great people, it was just a joy because they knew that I wasn't a threat, and I wasn't sort of like, how come they're doing it and I'm not doing it, you know. And the only time I hosted my own show was during Family Feud, and I didn't ask for it, I didn't want it, but they said, you know, this is yours now, and I've gone, oh, righto. And thank God the Olympics in Spain intervened and they cancelled it, but I've just loved supporting.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's a bit like you, Simon. Us Rovers make you ruckman look good, and that's how it works. He was a second fiddle. He just got up there, put his hand up, and we make him look good.
Dale,
he wasn't a bad player in the end. He wasn't a bad player.
Oh, you're not bad, Simon.
We could spend about half an hour just about you and I having a go at each other. That's the standard conversation. But about, like, you've had a great career. You played in a premiership really early.
Yeah.
But then you played for so long, and you've been part of Richmond as it developed into the current, you know, strong side. What's something something you remember the highlight for you?
Oh, I suppose early on it was obviously playing in the Premiership. I was 20. I turned 21. I turned 21 the weekend after, and as you do, being a country boy, you invite all the people at the footy club. So I invited everyone, the players, the coaches, the staff, everyone. And I thought, well, they're not going to go to Mildura. It's 550 k's away. They all turned up. The old man really had to take a second mortgage out of his home. I'm telling you, they all turned up. There was over 500 there, you know. And so,
where did you hold it?
It was at my old the Imperials Football Club, who I played for in Mildura. Had it there, and there was people there. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, they kept coming, and I didn't organise the old man. He had it down pat. All the invitations went to him. And he had all his friends picking up people from the used to be the Vineland used to go, the train used to go there.
Yeah.
Had about 10 people picking people up off the plane. People drove, people got buses. It was amazing how many turned up. And I think the other story was I invited the officials, and they actually bought the Premiership Cup to my 21st.
Wow.
They brought it in there, and you can imagine everyone's going up there, and everyone in the whole joint had a drink out of it. There's a big dent in it, which I know where that happened. That was one of the leaves, you know, the leaves on the. You've got a couple of sides that hasn't been stuck back together. And then I've got home. Luckily, across the road, I've gone home. I got to bed. I don't know, about 4 or 5, and next minute the old man's because it's gone missing. The cup went missing. It was just gone. And I'm thinking,
like the mace disappeared from the during the 1800s from Parliament.
That's right.
Somebody said, well, there you go. But the 1980 Premiership Cup's much more important than that. We've got, as I said, we had the, and everyone's looking. I'm thinking, oh no, I've got a couple of Collingwood mates, and I'm thinking, oh, they've taken it. They could have done anything with it. Next minute, about 6 o'clock, the old man's woke me up. Oh, found the cup. I said, oh,
where was it?
About. Oh, okay. He said, I said, what? Well, you've got being a good Catholic boy, you know, you got to go to 10 o'clock mass. I said, well, what do I have to go to 10 o'clock mass for? I've only been in bed. I'm going to have a couple hours sleep. The priest there knocked it off. The 2 priests that we knocked it off, and I've got to take it at the official possession, the body in Christ and the Premiership Cup. So there I was, the body of Christ, Premiership Cup, walked down, and the Mildura Church, Catholic Church, is huge. Holds, 400 or 500 people. It's a big church. I'm walking down, not feeling real good. The priest grabbed the cup, whacked it on the altar. A lot of people couldn't believe it was. And then he gave a sermon, how Richmond belted Collingwood the week before. That was an amazing day, really. Yeah.
That's magnificent. I haven't heard that story before.
They're fanatical, the priests in Mildura, about their sport, and footy was one of them.
Well, Mildura's always been a big sporting town.
Yeah, it has.
It has, and it's just so far away from everyone. Everyone doesn't realise. So I said, it's 550 k's from Melbourne, still in another state.
you get back there much? You got family up there? Do you
Yeah, well, my brother's still up there. My father was up until 3 months ago. I still get home around Christmas time. What we do, all because of the 6 kids in the family, we rotate going up there. So one year it's with the Outlaws, the next year it's all together. So we're all together. My nephew is Lee Colbert. He played with obviously Geelong and then North Melbourne, but he's bought 2 McDonald's up there. So he got them during the year. So he's up there, living up there now. So we're going to get up there at Christmas time.
Yeah, 2 clubs, 2 good contracts. That sounds pretty right. That sounds pretty good.
Completely different.
Well done.
Completely different.
Well, John, where did you grow up? Where were you born?
Eastern Kilda, and went to Ripon State School, and then on to Caulfield Tech, and then on to work after that, basically. So all around Melbourne, and
The best thing about your story, John, is the fact is you kept going back and really made something when you weren't too sure what you had, but you've actually became you are a superstar in your field.
Well, no, I think Dale, what a lot of it is the fact of adapting to what I do, and also just not being a pain in the ass, and just saying, okay, what can I do? When I first walked into Channel 7 in 1977, I just said, I went to every department and said, can I help? Can I do something? And they were fantastic. So I had a shot of reading the news, did the weather, helped out with the promos, just went to every department and said, g'day, can I do anything? Not sort of like, oh, is there any money in it for me? So,
That's right. You just wanted to work, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
a lot of people nowadays want the money without actually working. And
I'm sure you've told your kids, put the money over there. It will follow you if you're any good.
Yeah. Which is,
wonder whatever happened to Simon. Gee, he was a good bloke, wasn't he?
Yeah, look.
But I tell you what, this is so typical of television. We got rid of him.
I'm just trying something.
He looks better when he's just standing still, though.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. So when do you think you'll be back at Richmond, young man?
Well, hopefully, they'll let us know in September whether we get back or not. See, there's about 80% of us aren't working at the footy club, and we employ 150 odd people. They can only take, I think, 26 or 27 to the hub, and that's how it is, because they're the ones that can actually use their skills there. Because my role at the footy club, I look after all the supporter groups Australia-wide. We've got 18 supporter groups, and I go to all the functions, organise it, interview them and all that kind of stuff. And I also run match day functions as well for the footy club. So mine's dealing with people. And at the moment, people can't go to the footy, so my role isn't there at the moment. So, I've just got to wait and see.
Well, Dale, just I have a talk which I do, which goes for about 45 minutes, and I go to used to go to a lot of the dear old Probus clubs and to a lot of the Lions clubs, breakfasts and all that kind of stuff. So, and I never ever charge. So, if you ever need a breakfast speaker or whatever to a footy club, more than happy to come along and help in any way I can.
Good on you. But you're both for Collingwood. That's the only mark I'm not too sure about. You mightn't get out of the function alive for the Richmond one, but that won't. I'll look after you, because little blokes will protect the big blokes. Like Simon. Simon he'd run away.
My partner follows Port. She is a rabid Port supporter, so she could not be happier. And she says, "Look at that. Crows on the bottom, 0! And,
that'd be magnificent.
I can't get enough of it.
You back with the Simon?
Oh dear, look. Simon, we had such a good time while you went there.
You back?
We had a little bit of a. You did very well, boys. You don't need me at all. You just carried the team. You carried me again, Flea, but we're on the NBN, but I just had a bit of a fluctuation, but we're all okay at the moment, mate.
You're okay, mate?
I was going to say for you, John, just to give you a little bit of what the Flea and I go through, because people say to me, is the ruckman better than the rover better than ruckman? I said, look, all I know is what I used to do is I used to put an X on the rover's chest, so I stand there and hit it there, stand there and hit it there, stand there, hit it there, stand there, hit it there. And somebody said to me, well, what if you stand him in the same place and he gets cleaned up? I said, well, go and get another rover. They're a dime a dozen.
Oh.
And he
No
was never good
respect.
at noughts and crosses either, I'm telling you.
No respect.
It's only come about because of this cheeky little rover, the way he is.
Well, John, where we got to know each other really well was in state games, and that was
Okay, yeah.
that's a lot of people now didn't see him in the late 70s, 80s. It was unbelievable, wasn't it, Simon? Like just to play with the best footballers going around against the best from another state. It was unbelievable. And Paroka was like, that's where, the kick of Vic and all that kind of stuff from South Australia. And it was just amazing.
Who were some of the great South Australian players that you loved?
Oh, look.
I didn't love any South Australian players.
Come here. This is Leanne, who used to be my producer on Wheel of Fortune.
Port there, the
And
Port Adelaide
Leanne
supporter.
is a rabid Port supporter.
I am.
And who would be your favourites?
In Port,
Yeah.
Travis Boak.
Yes,
Yes,
very good.
adorable.
Good player, a bit.
Connor Rosie, he's pretty awesome. Charlie Dixon,
Charlie.
personal favourite. But they're all fabulous. They're all
And you're
And what
fabulous.
do you think of the Crows, love?
Ha ha.
Yeah, they haven't quite won a game yet, which is good.
Haven't quite won a game.
Well, if you're a Port supporter at the moment, of course you're cock a hoop. But I was going to say about those interstate games. And people said to me, "Oh, you're a good state player." And I said, "Well, thinking about this, I'd wandered into centre bounce at the start of a game. You've got Jared Healy, Brownlow medalist, Greg Williams, Brownlow medalist, and Dale Weightman, probably the best rover Richmond's ever had because Bartlett was a forward. I've got no excuses. I can't say it's his fault. I better lift my game. Because these blokes will just tear shreds off me if I can't do my job." And I think that's the thing about that state football. It actually, you have to lift to match the ability around you. Playing with Gary Ablett and a senior and all those great players was fantastic.
Simon, do you know, that's very interesting you should say that because I was very lucky that my first job in television was working at Channel 9 and they were a very tough environment to be in because you better be good. Then the next was working with Grundy's at Channel 7 and the Grundy machine making all those game shows. They were so tight and you had to bring your A game. You had to read right. You had to do it right the first time. If you had an issue, just shut up, ask about the question later in the pub, but don't stop production going, "How come you want me to do that?" You just do it and then ask later on.
But isn't that interesting? Because that's something that is it goes across all industries. That there is if there is an expectation to be good, well, you have to look at that expectation. It doesn't have to be unrealistic, but you can be here, or they say, "No, we actually want you to be here," and then you actually move towards that. And if you don't, well, you can say goodbye.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely right. And having producers like coaches. All my producers were like coaches, whether it was Leanne, who was just so tough on me, or other people at Grundy's who are great producers. You'd watch them and you'd say, right, okay, what can I do to make their life easier? Because the better they look, the better I look. So it's just that whole thing. And another funny thing is too, people say, "Oh, do you like other people at other networks?" I said, well, it's like footballers. I mean, at the Brownlow or off the field, you're all mates. And especially now, you could be anywhere. For all of us in television and radio, it just happens to be whatever team we're playing on, whether it be 3AW, Channel 9 or Channel 7. But away from that, we're all the same.
No, look, and that's a good point, and that's a great thing to go to you with, Flea, because you were in that era in Richmond. And I remember that late 70s, early 80s. Richmond were really, really good. They were tough, they were arrogant, they were strong. They were arrogant, rightly so, because they were strong. And then they lost it. And then it's been a long time, and you see them now. You see the Richmond side that are playing there. How do you see that come about? Like, not so much the falling away because it's hard in footy, but them coming back and being the team they are now.
Oh, look, it's. I think it's got a lot to do with the people. Like when we they were running the club, when we were going, like you said, late 70s, early 80s, we were strong, and then we just lost all our control. Look, I still believe we lost really good players, like a Cloak, a Rains, Wood, these type of blokes that were still playing really good footy to other clubs because the people who run the club couldn't deal with them and all that kind of stuff, and it was ridiculous. The people that ran the footy club cost me a couple of more final series because I played in 80 and 82 and never played another final series again since 93 when I retired. And
Dale, when you say they couldn't cope with them or couldn't handle them, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean that they were paying a couple of blokes a bit of money. That's fine, but they didn't actually sit down and negotiate with these players and say, "Well, let's work through it." They said, "No, see you later," and we lost them to other clubs. You know, the worst thing was we lost them all to Collingwood, Clokey and Maisie, which were good players, and we had some really good talent there, but they were the echelon of all the blokes that we wanted to run together. So it made it hard. And what's happened now, look, we over the last, I suppose, 10 years since Damien Hardwick's been there and Brendan Gale's been there. You know, this is a big difference. Brendan Gale, then the last 5 years you had Peggy O'Neill, who's been on the board. They actually looked at it and said, well, hang on a minute, this bloke, and Damien also had a lot of, in his early years, he struggled with a lot of things. He wanted to do it all himself. He wanted to do this and all that kind of stuff instead of sharing the load. And in the end,
trusting the team around him.
Yeah, that's right. He needed to get the people around him, and he nearly lost his job, I suppose, after 2016. But the club stuck with him, sent him away. And one of the things he never was keen on was psychologists who could actually talk to the players and get them all together and all that kind of stuff. He wanted to do it all himself. And the difference was he came back when he went overseas and had to think about it. And we got some people in there that really were good in getting the message across. Help him out and understand the people that you're dealing with, which are, the human beings, the ones that are now, you look at them and you only see the way they play. They actually enjoy playing. They want to be there. They enjoy each other's company. They know everything about each other. That's one of the things they do. They talk about their strengths, their weaknesses, and the things that that make them tick. And the players know that. They all know it, so they understand.
And I reckon, Simon, that is why when I started at Channel 7 back in '77, I mean, it was a very, very obviously sports, blokey place to be, and it was run very much like a football club. You had you had the general manager and Ron Casey, and then you had the program directors and who were like your coaches, and you were very much a team, and it was so different to the Channel 9 experience, which was personality driven as far as like a star factory. We were kind of like, they used to say, we were like the Republic Pictures of television, and they were like MGM. But everybody was so inclusive, whether it be Uncle Doug and all those sort of characters. So it was just so wonderful, and because everybody was part of the one team, it was just great.
That's fantastic. And look, I actually was going to ask some questions, but you've almost just morphed along into that position.
Well, there's just so many similarities between.
We're just trying to work out what you're doing here, Simon. John and I, we're just trying to work out. A big ruckman, you take up a lot of space. One thing you could do on the footy field was mark it around the ground, okay? And that's one thing. If you didn't do that, all you would have done was take up space. So you've done well. You can mark around the goal, kick goals, so you're good.
I feel like I'm at a sportsman's night.
Well, I was going to say, just because you've already led. I was going to say, I've been doing such a good job of letting you lead yourselves there. There you go.
No, you're magnificent.
Well, we're very shy and retiring, me and Dale. So,
I noticed that. Yeah. So, just on that, what for the modern young person or the person who's, the world's changing lots of ways. What do you see of aspects of good leadership that the people of you've worked with say, well, if I could pass on one good attribute of leadership, what would you see it to be?
Well, me personally, I wanted to be, for us, especially in a team environment, good leaders help people. You ain't going to be the supers. You're not going to win a game of footy off me by one person or two person. You need everyone. If we're not on the act, and that's the thing, you've got to get all the whole people wanting to do the same thing. Do the little things and the big things, the marks, kicks and handballs, look after themselves. But you believe in each other, you go along, and you actually look after each other. And that's the biggest thing that leaders have got to do. Don't say, "Well, I'm the president, so I played the game. I did all I did was play the game a bit better than someone else. Didn't make me any better than anyone else, and that's why I've taken. That's what I do in my life. That's what I do. I've just played a bit of footy, but I enjoy the company of people and seeing them come along with you, come along with the ride. And that's, there's no reason why, the reason, they've got 100,000 members. They've still got 98 with this. No one dropped off because they actually make them inclusive. They give them information, great. Look after them. And that's what you got to do. A lot of things, they mightn't do everything right, but they're trying to.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but I've actually written something down you said. You've actually impressed me. That's good.
When did you learn how to write? How to write.
So I knew just lead into it again. Now, John, what about you? That's great. That's great, Fleet. John, what about you? You talk about leadership. What's the thing that stands in your mind?
Well, leadership is allowing, as was mentioned by Dale, allowing people to work on their strengths, to help them with their weaknesses, and to not let the people feel that it's a competition between them and their seniors, that they can feel comfortable enough to come to them and go, I have a problem. This is what I'd like to do. And to understand the talent that you're working with, because so many people, especially with talent, you have such a diverse range of characters. Some egos are bigger than others, and you have to look at what the strengths are and what the problems are with these, not the problem, but what the attributes are of these people, and work with it. And the great leaders I've found are the ones who are incredibly honest. And when I've been to my bosses and said, "Why didn't I get that show?" And they said, "Mate, horses for courses, it just wasn't right for you." I go, "Oh, I'll go away and get the SADs for a while, and then I'm right." But to ask questions of people who are better than you, to say, "How did you get to be how you are?" What, and to learn from them, and not to be frightened. And fear is such a big obstacle in progression, and to lose that fear, and to go up to people and say, "I love the way that you do that announcing," or "How did you do that?" And to watch people and to listen to them, see how they walk, see how they talk. You can learn so much, but don't be fearful.
Yeah, that leads me to, I think you've already answered that. The one thing you'd say to a new person going into that profession, what would that be it? Or what would you say to the young person saying, "Well, if you want to get off to the right start, what do you do?"
Go to a voice coach, or go to a singing coach, actually, to get your breathing right, to get your pipes in the right place. Don't worry about the enunciation. You can get onto that later on, but learn the basics. Look, it is exactly the same as if, like Dale was saying, how his old man taught him the right way to kick from the start. And this is like when you see some players who've come from other parts of the world and they're shown right from the very start the right way to do things. And that's so important, to get the basics right. Could be talking about footy, could be talking about writing, could be talking about anything, but certainly in this business. So get those basics right and then work on the others. What are your strengths? Do you know, I used to take thousands of kids for tours through Channel 7. And I would say to them at the end, if you want to know more, if you don't know somebody in the industry, you do now. Me. Here is my email address. Call me. Let me, send me an email and I will give you any advice I can. Probably out of about 3,000 kids, I might have been lucky to have 6 get back to me. And I'd say, look, please, ask. And so it's very important to do that.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. And it's really interesting, isn't it? Because those people actually just take that step and go, "Well, I could ask if I won't, but I do." That gets you closer than anybody else. He said 6 out of 3,000. You're one step closer than the other.
And it's the most generous industry. I can't speak for Dale, but I reckon it's our industry is very, very generous. If you go try and contact somebody, 9 times out of 10, they will help you and they will want to give you some advice. Certainly for me, because I'm at the end of my career now. I mean, I'm nearly 70. So, it's been sensational. So anything I can do to help is wonderful and very fulfilling.
So you're younger than Simon. Oh, that's
He can't help
it.
But I was going to ask you, Flo, I was going to ask you. That's a. I mean, John. There's some great words. There's seriously some great words of wisdom for you. And I know footy, it's changed, but it's still the same in lots of ways. If you had a bloke being drafted or looking to be drafted, what would you be telling him these days?
I think that if they get drafted, they can play, and they can obviously play the game. Okay, and I suppose it's like most things. You've got to, and when they come in, firstly, some of them are a little bit overawed. Others think they're the superstars and they haven't had a kick, and that's as you said, as John said, different egos. Everyone's different. They all come in a bit differently. So it's important to actually sit down and have a chat to the young kids and just say, oh yeah, what your aspirations are, what are you doing, how you go, what you need to do is a lot of the work is just have an understanding of where the young lads come from, the parents, and usually you get a lot from where the parents and what they're like and how they've brought up the young lad and all that kind of stuff.
True.
A few in the time that actually, is giving him everything and expects everything, where others have made him work and all that kind of stuff. So, look, to me, it's all about finding out a bit about the boy. Obviously he can play, otherwise he wouldn't be on the list. And there'll be times when he has highs and lows and all that kind of stuff, and that's where they've got the experts at the footy club that can actually nut out all the little bits and pieces and so forth. Make them inclusive,
And side by side, we stick together, mate.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Very good. Where's that from? I've heard it somewhere. I haven't heard much of it lately.
Did I do that right, Eddie? Was that okay? Yeah, right.
Yeah, good. So is your sponsoring you again, Eddie?
Oh, yes. He's just sitting in the other chair.
I reckon he's paid Bucks as fine too. Don't worry about that. Bucks never paid it.
What's that, Eddie? Yeah, okay.
Eddie would have paid Bucks as fine.
Everyone else is a problem, but we don't. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Gentlemen, that's been fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your insights. That's great. It's a great, and this is, hopefully we're going to be continuing. This is a great start for a small little program to help people with a little bit of laughter, a little bit of logic, and a little bit of maybe something to think about, take something away to think about on this. Deeksy, I don't think I've ever called you Deeksy, but John Deeks, thank you.
Well, everyone else does.
Yes, magnificent.
Flea, I hate to say this, you're actually not a bad little bloke, all right?
Oh,
not a bad little bloke. Not a bad.
It's a shame I can't say about the same thing about you, big fella. But
every ruckman needs a cheeky little rover, mate. He's a very good.
That's right. There's plenty of. There's only some really good ones going around, though.
Anyway, look, why don't we finish up with a bit of a song? Good old Collingwood. Come on, everybody in.
It's breaking up.
I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
They've cut up my audio. They've cut my audio. Eddie, what do I do?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people, John Deeks, thank you very much. And Dale Weightman, thank you too very much. Great.
Thanks, well done, Simon. Well hosted. Well done, Deeks. Glad to meet you, champ. You're magnificent. And go Tigers.
Go Tigers!